First case is for today. Now we have three tracks, sorry. Here at track 1, we have Matja Korelc. He's a senior territory manager for Southeast Europe at LinkedIn. He accepted this position as a challenge 6 years ago and relocated to Ireland with the mission to deliver LinkedIn's best experiences and practices to members in Southeast Europe. You've had a chance to see Matja, I think 2 days ago, so welcome again.
Hello, good morning. Hi, Jovana.
Good morning. Nice to see you again. Good luck with the presentation. I hope we'll have questions for you later on.
Sure, absolutely. Hi, so hello everyone. What we are going to do today, so on the last session which we had on Monday, we were looking a bit what we see will be as the future of the recruitment. So we checked a bit the topics in regards to internal mobility, diversity, virtual hiring, remote work. We spoke about the employer brand, and as well the new skills for the HR professionals. And the session today will be more about the Adriatic region, so Adriatic and Balkan region. So we name it as Adriatic, the whole region which is from Slovenia all the way down to Bulgaria, but we could also name it Southeast Europe. So that's a topic which is I'm very fond of this topic. I really like to talk about it. So I hope you will like the presentation today and see the numbers. First, we will check a bit general topics. So we will be talking about the economic graph. So what LinkedIn tries to do, or when we ask what LinkedIn is, some people would say LinkedIn is a social network, or it's a job portal, or it's a communication tool. So basically what we here at LinkedIn want to do is that we want to digitally map the whole global economy. And how we want to do that is with building the economic graph, which is combined of the following metrics or following silos. So to make this digital map of the economy, obviously what we need as the first step is to have the digital representation of every single member or professional who is active, who is contributing to the economy. So at this stage, we have 722 million of members on LinkedIn. This is very updated number just recently from the last week. This year in February, we just reached the number 700 million. And in the last 8-9 months, the number significantly grew to 722 million. I remember when I started to work at LinkedIn in 2015, at that stage, we just reached 200 million members. And then over the years, the membership grew. Okay, so then we have members as the first step. Second, are obviously companies. So companies can open their profiles on LinkedIn, where those members can add their profiles to those companies and share or say that they are currently working for that companies. Companies can open their profile, members are added to the profile, and then companies can share the updates. They can share about the news which they have. They can post the jobs. There will be as well few changes in terms of LinkedIn pages or LinkedIn companies coming in 2021, which will also help to boost the employee engagement and employee communication. So interesting things to happen there. Okay, so we have companies, and obviously companies are then hiring members, and how they can do that is with LinkedIn jobs. So at the moment, there is 14 million different jobs posted on LinkedIn, where obviously those members can apply on those jobs which companies are in need or searching for. What I can tell about the jobs is that in the past, jobs were like when we were doing the analytics for the jobs and what type of profiles companies are searching, those were mostly, let's say, mid to senior level executives in the companies. But if you look at the data now, if like literally from 2 weeks ago, 57% of the jobs which are posted on LinkedIn are for the first line or hourly workers jobs. So this ratio really significantly grew over the last years. Okay, so then to be able to perform those jobs, to be able to have the skills to do that job, we also need to have the list of all the possible skills. At the moment, there are 36,000 skills listed on LinkedIn, which is slightly lower number than it was before. Before we had around 50,000 skills, but in the last 2 years, our data analytics teams, they gathered those skills and made them more, let's say, more in the groups, those type of the skills. So that's why the accuracy when companies are searching for people with certain skills would be better than it was before. So yeah, that's in regards to skills. And then obviously to be able to have those skills, members needs to get the education, and how they can do that is obviously with the schools and experience. So at the moment there is 115,000 different job schools have the profile on LinkedIn, where members can get those skills to be able to perform the jobs in the companies. And lastly, actually, how we combine all those pillars together is with the knowledge. So knowledge, that's something what we call the LinkedIn posts or the engagement messages. So on a yearly basis, so that's for the calendar year 2019, there were 358 billion different posts done on LinkedIn and messages being sent between members. So the number in 2018 was around 250 billion. Last year it was 358 billion. What we also saw that actually this year, if we are looking at, if we compare the numbers this summer to last summer, the ratio of how many people are exchanging the messages on LinkedIn was up for 53% year on year. So huge increase in the using LinkedIn as a communication tool. Okay, so let's now move forward. We can also, so more than 2 members are joining LinkedIn every second. What is probably interesting to know is that more than 70% of the members at the moment are outside of the US. So the population or the membership is growing significantly in the regions outside of US. Okay, so now let's move to the to Serbia. So let's look a bit about the membership in Serbia and the region. So when we are looking at the membership in Serbia at the moment, there are 877,000 members who have the profile open, and they selected their current location as Serbia. If we look a bit the numbers, let's say regionally, for all of you who are interested, Bulgaria at the moment has around 820,000 members. Then we have Macedonia is around 200,000 members, Montenegro around 70,000 members, Bosnia and Herzegovina, it's also around 200,000 members. Then Croatia has 620,000 members, and Slovenia around 320,000 members. So that's in terms of the membership. If we would be looking as well, let's say other countries in the Central and Eastern Europe, probably the largest or the country with the highest membership, that would be Poland, with around 4 million members on LinkedIn. Czech Republic around 1 million, Hungary also around 1 million. But obviously what is very important always to look is what is the ratio between membership and the people. So the people who are currently employed or who are the active members or who are the active employed in a company. So if you would be looking, if I remember correct from the last data in Serbia, there is close to 2.4 million active population. So we would come to roughly somewhere between around 25% of the active population in Serbia is as well a member on LinkedIn. This ratio would probably put Serbia somewhere in the average for the Central and Eastern Europe, Obviously, when we are looking at the larger countries, the ratio would be slightly smaller. And if we are looking to some of the smaller countries in the Central and Eastern Europe, the ratio would go up to 30 to 35%. If I look generally for the whole Europe, the country with the highest ratio of LinkedIn members and active population would be the Netherlands. So in Netherlands, there is around 89–90% of the active population in a country is as well having a LinkedIn profile. Okay, so that's in regards to the membership. Then if you look at the companies, 17,000 companies are registered in LinkedIn Serbia. Members in Serbia, they added 26,000 different skills on their LinkedIn profiles. And members in Serbia, they selected 7,000 different schools as part of their education. Okay, then when we are looking at how LinkedIn is being used, obviously we see a huge shift coming from, let's say, only desktops as well moving to all the mobile platforms. If we would be looking now for the whole region, we would see that cross-device, so using the desktop and the mobile devices, the usage is around 50%. If we would be looking only at the mobile devices, the ratio is growing, or the percentage is growing year on year, and at the moment it's around 35–36%. And members who are using only desktop when logging into LinkedIn is around 15–16%. So that's probably important as well for you as members, or for you who are posting anything on behalf of the company, to consider that obviously a lot of the posts which you do will be viewed on the mobile devices, so that you make sure that the text have the right length and the size of the photos and any other content would fit into the mobile devices. Okay, so then what we did is that we also a bit analyzed the contributions, or analyze what is happening in that region on LinkedIn. So we see here some percentages, and when we are looking at the share, so how much members are sharing on their LinkedIn profiles compared to the global average. Actually, the percentage of shares, as we can see, is really, really high. So 188%, meaning that the average member in that region of Southeast Europe is for 1.8 times more active on LinkedIn in terms of sharing the content with their networks. Then the second one, only 6%. So not a lot of, like on average, not a lot of people are following some of the industry news, some of the hashtags, or some of the LinkedIn groups. And if we are looking at the followers and the mobile views, this is close to the global average. Okay, and now we can look at the demographics. So when we are looking the industry, so all the industries which are in Serbia, the members for which industries they are employed, and then we compare them to the averages in Europe, I think there is no surprise that the software and IT services is by far the highest one in Serbia, and as well it would be one of the highest one across the whole Europe or globally. So if for all the countries in the Southeast Europe, software and IT services would be on the first place, based on how many members in that country are working in that certain industry. Only Slovenia would be they would have the software and IT services on the second place, and manufacturing would be on the first place. But obviously, software and IT services is always very, very high. And especially if you look here in Serbia, the ratio between the local membership and, let's say, if we would be looking the ratio on average for the whole Europe, is much higher in Serbia. If we would be, so software, manufacturing, corporate services, education, healthcare, finance, retail is then the next one, consumer goods. Those would be the most popular industries in Serbia. If we would be looking at Croatia, let's say For them, the second or actually the third most popular industry on LinkedIn would be actually the tourism and healthcare services would be much higher than in other countries. Okay, and then we can look at the functions and the occupations. So as we can see, if you look at the on the right bottom, a lot of the owners of the companies, that's usually we often see in the countries which are relatively smaller to the larger countries across the globe. We would see a higher ratio of the SMB or small type of companies and the smaller ratio of the large international global companies with 10,000 plus employees. As well, no surprise, then we see software engineers, very, very high ratio there, sales managers, CEOs, project managers. And in terms of the functions, we see that as well engineering is here very high. Then we have the sales roles, arts and design, very popular in the gaming industry, and obviously IT. Okay, so then we can also look at the occupations. I think here is no surprise. If we look at on the right side, we see most in the demand occupations. So that's something what we look, let's say, on how many emails, so direct messages, the LinkedIn members received in the last 12 months comparing to other members. So it's literally, as you can see, every single role has is ending with either developer or engineer. So it means that those type of the profiles are in by far the highest demand on LinkedIn. And as you can see, having any of those skills, those members would definitely receive a lot of attentions from the recruiters. And in terms of the fastest growing occupations, when we are looking which roles are added to LinkedIn or what are the new job titles members are adding, we can see here as well, very similar, a lot of the engineer and developer roles. Okay, then we are looking at the skills. So again, fastest growing skills, it's a lot coming from the, let's say, the development, the IT industry. We see a lot of skills here, Python, programming languages, QA, digital marketing, Scrum, HTML, and the most common skills we have here on the left. Okay, so then we are as well looking at the skills for the HR. So if we would be looking only the members who are employed in the HR function, on the right you will see the top common skills, and the highest growth had actually the analytical skills. I believe that you had mentioned as well, or there are some sessions on this event as well in terms of the analytics in the HR. Okay, so we also looked at the companies which are represented in Serbia. So if you are looking at the companies which are fastest growing year on year, meaning that the employees, they change their current employer to that certain company and that they have the location in Serbia, we see the companies as, let's say, CPA Global in staffing industry, BlackRock financial industry, high tech, freelancers, Continental. And then the largest companies by the headcount, the people who are located in Serbia and they have that current employer, I think, NCR, NIS, Telecom, Upwork, Telenor, VIP Mobile, and so on. Okay, I think I have only 5 minutes left, so I need to a bit speed up. So when we did the survey, what members in Serbia are considering when they are changing the new job, obviously that would most probably be interesting for anyone who is thinking what type of post and what type of things to share on their LinkedIn company page. As you can see, the majority of members in Serbia, they said that good work-life balance would be one of the most important factors for them when considering the new job. Then looking at excellent compensation and benefits, that would be average for the whole Europe. Culture then that inspire employees to do the best would be the third one, most popular, and open and effective management. So that would be some of the most important things for members considering to to change the role. Interestingly, less important to members in Serbia, convenient commute to work. So it looks, yeah. Okay, so yeah. Next one, when we did the analytics, so for the different age groups on LinkedIn, we are looking at baby boomers. Those are the people who are born from 46 to 64. Then Generation X from 65 to 80, millennials from 81 to 94. So we are looking at in which type of skill clusters are they employed or what they are doing. And it comes as no surprise if you look at the generation of baby boomers and Generation X. Those would be the profiles who have the skills more in terms of the leadership role or some high management roles. We would see that they are more popular or like more present in this type of skill clusters. And then when we are going down to, let's say, millennials, they would be more working or having the skills of digital transformation, design thinking, business analysis, and so on. And as well for Generation X, digital transformation as being one of the most skill cluster popular for that audience. Okay, about the hiring seasonality in Serbia, the most people, when people are changing the jobs the most on LinkedIn, that would be in January, September, and October. We would see the highest ratio of the job changes by the members who are located in Serbia. And in terms of the tenure development or how long people stay with the employer, the average term at the moment is 2.8 years. If we look at all the members on LinkedIn, and this number is very, very similar to the Europe average. It's as well, I think, 2.8 years for the Europe. So that would be the average length of how long people stay in the company. On Monday, we also spoke that obviously people who often change the role internal the company or have the option to grow within the company, those would be the people who on average stay longer in that company. Okay, in terms of the digital members, if we look at the digital members in Serbia, there are 105,000 different type of digital members. So those are the people who have at least 2 of those skills added on their LinkedIn profile. Then we are looking how the talent is moving. So EMEA is mostly losing talent to US and gaining it from India. We are seeing where this digital talent is going or where they are moving from certain country to another country. Okay, I'll skip this one and I'll go to the, to this one. So when we were looking at the CE region, we also see, we were looking what are the pool of the talent with the digital skills. And as we can see here, those are the numbers for 2019. So that would be, let's say, Serbia, 60,000 members, Bulgaria as well as 69, Bulgaria 70, Croatia 55. In terms of how many members have the digital skills added on their LinkedIn profile. And then, the highest proportion, as you can see, that around 12% in that region of members on LinkedIn are the members who have the digital profiles on their LinkedIn. When we look at the demand for those professionals with the digital skills, we can see that actually in those countries which are here, so Tunisia, Macedonia, Serbia, Albania, San Marino, Niger, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and South Africa has the highest year growth year on year. So the number of individuals who had added the digital skills on their LinkedIn profiles. And then the hidden gems. So hidden gems, that would mean something, let's say, when we are analyzing the talent groups or talent pools in a certain country or the city, we would see where the demand for those skills is the lowest and the supply the highest. So that would sometimes be interesting, let's say, when we have the examples when companies are considering opening a new daughter company in another country or another city, then we are doing the analysis, let's say, in which city would be more, we would be more successful opening a new companies. Let's say it's a known example, a company wanted to open a new office in Poland. So they were looking at in which city in Poland is the highest number of Python developers, but the lowest number of competition there. So the highest number of the developers were obviously in Warsaw as the capital city, but then they realized that opening the office in Krakow would make more sense, because in total they had less members who had those skills, but the competition was also much lower than it was in Warsaw. So this type of analytics can give some information to the management or to the company where would make sense to invest or to open the new office based on that. And as we can see in those countries here, those are the hidden gems, meaning that the supply is high enough and the demand for those skills is lower than on average in other countries. Okay, then we are as well looking to the talent. So how many people had changed the location, and what we see that from UAE was a lot of movement coming from Serbia and to Serbia, then Montenegro, New York, Vienna, London, Russia, and so on. In terms of the industries, no surprise here. The most popular industries in Serbia